Hello, CPG Accelerator fam. Happy Tuesday. Excited for today's session here. In case you didn't see, Raf is a little under the weather, so you've got me hosting today, and we're going to have a great session with the folks from Third Web. Before that, just a couple of quick reminders if you haven't seen it in the announcements channel. We have a jam-packed week, and things are just going to be getting busier as the weeks go on in the Accelerator program. So we're here today. On Thursday morning, we will have our typical community cafe, 11 a.m. PT, 8 a.m. PT, 11 a.m. ET. Gregarious will be hosting that like he's here every week. And then a special session Thursday afternoon. We're going to have Joanna Rindo, who will be hosting a drop-in session on all things legal. So if you've got questions on IP law, NFT regulations, data protection, any of those types of things, just drop in on Thursday. Both of those sessions will be live inside of Telegram. But today we're over here on YouTube because we've got a special presentation. I am going to bring up Josh and Muhammad from Third Web. They have a really great product. They're an awesome startup, and I'm excited to hear about not only what they have going on, but all of kind of the alpha and a couple of special deals for the CPG crew. So Jason, Muhammad, welcome. Excited you guys can make it today, and excited for the Accelerator crew to kind of hear what's going on over at Third Web.
Thanks for having us. I'm Jason. This is Muhammad. I run our ecosystem team here at Third Web. We're super excited to be working with Rafa on your Accelerator program. We're really big fans of CPG. We've done events with CPG, like at Art Basel, where that have been really fun in Miami. A bunch of us own some of your great swag, and we've been following the progress of the Accelerator. It's been great to watch. Everyone should know that Third Web is like a partner of the Accelerator. And what that means is we have some really great free tools. And today we're going to be showing you how those tools can help you build your products faster and how you can spend less time rebuilding things that already exist and focus on building what's unique about your products to save you time so you can learn. But everyone should know, like Muhammad, he's a solution architect at Third Web. He's a great developer. He knows a lot about smart contracts. And what everybody's going to get is, you're going to get access to Muhammad whenever you need, hands-on keyboard. When you need help thinking through what you're building, we're offering that to everybody. And also, like myself, I've got like 12 years of early stage startup experience. I've always been like the first hire at a startup, the first BD person, building out BD teams and growth teams. I've had 2 startups get acquired. I know a lot about sort of like how to go from 0 to 1. And I'm available to talk to anybody about, like, what are you thinking about? Like, you're thinking about getting your early users. How are you prioritizing your time? Like, there's all sorts of things to talk about. And Muhammad and I are here to help you on the product side, on just like thinking about startup stuff. As you go off and raise money, as you use our tools and we get to know each other, like we can make industry connections for you. So that's what we're here to offer, the CPG Accelerator. And Chad, if you can show the website, I'm going to sort of give a little intro to Third Web, and then I'm going to kick it off to Muhammad. He's going to sort of walk you through how our tools can really help you build faster. And so, we're also a startup too, just like all of you. We're a 1.5 years old. Third Web is a complete development framework for building Web3 apps. It actually started, though, as, a 1.5 years ago, our CEO, Furkan, he was trying to create like top shots for everybody. Like, hey, what if every NFT project could have like that cool 3D booster pack open up and like NFTs randomly came out? And what he realized is that it was really complicated. It was difficult to build that product because, it was complex. Like the learning curve of building in Web3 was tough. There's like a lot of different infrastructure ideas. A lot of tools don't integrate together, and there were security issues. And so that's kind of where Third Web came. He pivoted into creating a dev tool company. And so what we do is we are a complete development framework. It's everything you need. And in the last year, 70,000 devs have started using Third Web. They have shipped 250,000 contracts with us. At any given moment, for a point of reference, 40% of the transactions on Optimism come through our contracts, and a lot of big brands rely on us. So when it comes to contracts, like when it comes to Web3 apps, what you'll find in Third Web and what Mohammed's going to walk you through, it starts with contracts. We have a massive library of everything you've ever heard of. When Vitalik blogs about an idea like soulbound tokens, they appear in our product for you. We then abstract all the functionality of those contracts into SDKs so that, you know, people can use Python, JavaScript, Golang, and other common languages to interface with contracts. We also generate UI components so that you don't need to make mountains of code for your specific contract to connect it to a UI. We do that dynamically. We take care of publishing with a single click. We do all the work for you in these situations. We also have RPC nodes and storage and wallets. In the background, we're doing all these best practices for you to sort of tee up these features and make it really easy to use. And ultimately, we're a Web2 company, but you should know, like, our values are very Web3. We're permissionless. All of our tools are open source. There's nothing about us that is between you and the blockchain. We're not a middleman. Everything is owned by you. So we don't put fees into our contracts. There's nothing that we charge for. It's all free. Nothing is deployed from our wallets. It's deployed from yours. Nothing is hosted on your project.thirdweb.com. We're just the tool in the background. And like, there's no contract for you to sign. You just log into us with your wallet, and you can use one or all of our features. You can swap in different vendors for storage and RPC nodes or different wallets. And the whole purpose of our tool is to accelerate your development cycle. And so I'm now going to kind of kick it over to Mohammed, because when you're building, like, everything that you're doing right now is you're coming up with a hypothesis for your customers. Like, I believe that people want the thing I'm about to build. And your job is to build like the least amount possible, because like, you're a startup, you have to use your time wisely. You're trying to build a minimum viable product. You want to give it to your users. You want to measure, like, what did they do? And then you want to learn from your measurements. Like, okay, now that I got the data, what did they do? And then you're going to make a new hypothesis. Like, given what you've learned, how do you change the product and like give it back to people? And so where Third Web will help you is we're going to help you on that build phase. You're going to be able to build faster and get your Web3 products in the hands of users quicker, so you can observe what they do. Do they like it? Do they not like it? Is there something they love? And with our tools, you'll be able to go through those build, measure, learn cycles faster, because when you're a startup, if you don't make a change, like, the graphs don't change, they stay flat. When you make a change, you want to see the graph go up or down. Like, that means something impacted the users. And your growth is going to be a function of how many experiments you can do on your product. The more experiments you do, the more you're going to be able to bend that line upwards. And so I'm going to kick it off now to Mohammed. He's going to kind of walk you through sort of like, how does our platform actually help you do all this faster?
Yeah. While we switch over, I'm going to pull up, Mohammed's screen. We've got folks in the Telegram and in the Accelerator that are everywhere from, I have an idea of something that I created in Figma, all the way to folks building that MVP like you talked about, and then folks, trying to go from 10 to 100 or 100 to 1,000. Where maybe it's a place to start. What's the kind of educational level from a builder? What kind of teams, I think, are you typically working with? How much does someone need to know before they even start to think about working with Third Web? Maybe that's just kind of that we can kick it off from there as someone thinks about embracing your tool sets.
I'll start to answer this, and Mohammed, correct me or add on anything. Teams of all types use us. Like, Coinbase's team relies on us. Like, there's sort of like all sorts of huge enterprises that use us: Shopify, Fractal, Rarible, 100 Thieves, big esports teams that have like large marketing teams and many different types of people using us. There are people who are very sophisticated Solidity devs that have fully built out protocols that have migrated to us because it's really easy to migrate your contracts over. There are people that don't know Solidity, and they use our templates that we have available, and they simply click deploy, and they use like our low code versions of us, and they're like pre-product. I would say like the sweet spot of people using us is sort of like the proof of concept you're building your initial MVP, or you have an MVP and you're looking to grow it. Because it's like a time saver. There are people that have more urgency around like the learning and getting their product in the hands of their users. That's where we really come in. And like part of that urgency is like, oh, I can't find a Solidity dev, or like Solidity devs are so expensive. Well, because our SDK abstracts away Solidity into other languages, you're able to use our tools if you already know how to code. I would say people that get the most out of us, out of Third Web, know some code. People that don't know any coding, like that need a complete no code solution, they're able to use our solution, but it's not going to be like as bespoke as they wish it could be.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's a great place to start. And Muhammad, kind of take us through someone's coming in for the first time. They want to figure out what they can use Third Web for. Maybe that's a great place to start.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nice to meet everyone. Quick question for you, Chad. I'm here in the Telegram group. Is it okay if I kind of ask questions and engage with people who are in the general channel?
Yeah, we got folks that are in there right now. So definitely, if you want to drop anything in there, if you want me, I can type while you talk, and we can try and get some live input from folks. Absolutely.
Cool. So I am a solutions architect, as Jason mentioned here. I really come into the picture for teams who have hands-on keyboard and they're working through building an actual product. So I help get you unstuck and also listen to what features you need. Our company is only a few years old, and what you as the customers say that you need in your day-to-day is what I take back to the engineering team to build it in our next iteration. So I am curious here in the chat, if y'all wouldn't mind, who here is a dev? If you wouldn't mind just putting like a thumbs up or a hands up emoji, something along those lines. I'm curious who here like is a dev, something along those lines. Some sort of me, I'm a dev. Okay.
Yeah, and just so you know, there's usually about like a 20 to 30 second delay from like us before it works its way through the tubes and everything. So
got it. So actual
just something to keep think ahead. So yeah, we're starting to get replies now. Someone saying they're not a dev, which is why they're using Third Web.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I see it. Cool. And I'll ask this and I'll keep on going, and I'll keep an eye on the chat as it starts populating. But I'm also curious, I've had a chance to look through the list of companies and get a sense of where like the type of industries that everyone's in. So if you also wouldn't mind typing in the specific type of like vertical that you're in, that your business in, whether it's gaming or like marketplace or like customer retention, however like one liner you would use to describe, so I can get a sense of where everyone's at as I'm working through this demo. But I'm seeing, it's interesting, I'm seeing like a nice little mix of devs and non-devs. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is our Explore page, and I think this is you can look at this as our smart contract store. Basically, it's a place you can discover audited smart contract templates that implement various primitives that we have. So anywhere from NFT drops. This is a 721 contract that's built by us, Third Web, and it's audited. I know y'all had a chat with Unlock Protocol not so long ago. They've also published a contract that we have displayed here on our Explore page. So you can go through and pick and choose from, we have 1155s, we have ERC20s, we have 721s, and then we actually package a lot of these smart contracts and functionality in specific tools. Like if you want to deploy a marketplace, we have one contract that gives you kind of all the bits and pieces you need for deploying for having your own marketplace. If you have advanced needs for how to distribute your funds, we have our split contract. Signature drop, really exciting stuff. If you want to kind of treat do some sort of validation, like let's say you only want to allow users to mint a certain token if they hold like a membership token. Signature drop is what what you want to use. And then we have DAOs and governance, airdrops, staking, this beta marketplace V3 contract, which I'll talk to you about a little bit more in depth in a little bit. So all you do now, this is I'm going to start at the level of someone that is not an engineer and wants to use these pre-existing dashboard to manage everything. But then I'm going to jump in and show you how to do everything using like terminal and with VS Code and kind of manually edit whatever you want to. So I mean, you see straight off that everything we have here, to be able to do anything on here, all you need to do is just connect your wallet. There's no account creation, nothing. Everything's decentralized, trustless, permissionless, totally transparent and open source. So after you connect, you pick whichever contract you want to deploy, you click it, and you'll see a few things here. So for most of these contracts, we have some pre-built projects. You can see that this is a GitHub link to show you what a sample app built around this contract does. If you want to dive deeper into the technical into the technical design doc, or you want to look at the SDK and kind of get into some more of the nitty gritty. So one thing I want to point out here are all of the extensions that our system automatically detects on this contract. So whether you are deploying a contract from scratch using Third Web or importing an existing contract, I'll show you how to do that here in a second too. Our system automatically detects which ERC standards you've implemented in that contract, and then it spins up a dashboard and identifies these extensions based on how your code is written. So this one, because it's a fresh contract, comes pre-built with all these permissions. You have gasless extensions. You can actually manage permissions if you're on a team, which is not so easy to do in the Web3 world. And then a bunch of kind of ERC 721 relevant extensions. So to deploy, we just go to deploy now, add our information, name, symbol, description, image, put in the recipient address, royalties if we need them, any sort of platform fees, and then one-click deploy. We have a bunch of kind of pre-listed main and test nets here for you to select from. But this is one thing that no other tool, as far as I know, does. You can actually deploy to any EVM chain. So you can search by the network name if it's a public chain right here, or if it's a private chain, you can go to custom and add all the details here, name, RPC, chain ID, etc. And then you can add the network and select to deploy directly from there. It takes a couple seconds to deploy, and you got to confirm a few transactions. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump to a deployed contract. Now, what you see here, this dashboard and everything on the left here, this has been this dashboard has detected, again, the types of extensions that this contract has, and has spun up this custom dashboard for your specific experience. You have a main overview page. You can go to the build tab. It gives you, and I'll dive into this here in a little bit more deeply in a second, but gives you some easy snippets of how to build on top of the core functionality that the contract gives you. I mean, even certain things like, lazy minting NFTs, metadata results, 10, 15 lines of code, you're done, you're ready to go. Getting single NFTs, 2 lines of code, token ID, and just getting that token ID. We have this explore page where you can call functions against your contract using this UI. We list all of kind of latest transactions. We are working on building out our analytics solutions quite a bit more. Like in the coming weeks, you can expect significantly more functionality around just the overall data ecosystem of your contract. That is another thing that in the Web3 world, how do you actually track things, right? You want to measure ROI, you want to measure the impact that you're having. And that's out of the box, not easy to do on the blockchain at all. And that's something we're building out very, very shortly. We're in the process of building out. We will be releasing it shortly. Any sort of settings you want to update here? If you want to update your primary sales, royalties, platform fee, etc. Like I said, all the code you have access here. You can browse through all the Solidity code if that gets you excited. And then the extensions. Here you can claim your NFTs. You can upload your NFTs one at a time. You can do a batch upload. You just drop a CSV with the assets and relevant metadata. It pulls it all in. You can decide on the overall claim conditions. You add these phases that you can customize to any wallet, or specific kind of configurations of how people and what people can do to claim. Permissions, I mentioned this earlier. You can add roles and give different wallets certain levels of permissions to interact and do certain things with your contracts. And then we give some embed code. That's this is an easy iframe, but I'm going to show you some UI components that I think are a lot more powerful. The iframe is great for if you're not a developer and you have like a WordPress or Shopify site and you just want to drop an iframe in there and have like an easy minting solution kind of up and running with what you saw, like maybe 5-10 minutes of work. And I'm going to take a small pause and ask for questions. I know it's going to take a few seconds for my voice to go all across the internet to where you are. So put in questions. I'll keep an eye on the chat, and I'll go back to any sort of questions that I see come in over the next few minutes. So as Jason said, one of the big thing that Chad had asked, like, where do I need to be as a company for Third Web to make sense for me? So I mean, I think you've seen the fast, iterative, kind of very lower code solution that we have with the dashboard, which is point and click and deploy and interact and all that fun stuff that gets you going in very little time. The true power of Third Web, like everything we just saw on the dashboard, was written using our SDK, which I'm going to jump into right now. Now this SDK is what makes Third Web special and what makes it work for any size company out there, whether you're the weekend warrior spinning up a proof of concept, or you're Rolling Stone doing a major drop, or Coinbase Marketplace, or Animoca Brands. We just did a major drop with them last weekend, which had it's millions of dollars worth of like NFT transactions happened over the course of like a couple hours. Our systems scale with you, however much or however little you need. We're very, very composable. You can pick and choose what you want. You can start with the pre-built contracts, which I recommend for everyone. When you're worried about time to market, you want to get up and going and testing as quickly as possible. And that's what we do for you. We get you spun up within a matter of minutes, but then offer like a huge suite of customization and functionality that you can like build on top of that if you want that more bespoke solution. So I won't really go through this documentation. It's quite a bit. I won't necessarily don't need to go like line for line and show you anything. But what's important to see is that all you need to do essentially is wrap your contract with let's go to React, for example. Getting started, all you do, this is your main app file. You wrap your app component with a Third Web provider that you've imported, and you're good to go. You're ready to get started. And once you've done that, your app is now super powered, not just by the dashboard that we saw, but all the functionality we see here in the SDK, all these hooks, all these UI components. And what I want to do real quick is show you before I show you that, I want to mention a couple of things that we have coming. Like storage, for example. Storing things on IPFS is not the most user-friendly experience. We provide a toolkit to allow that experience for you and your users. Who, if someone wants to set a profile picture, and we want that to be done in a decentralized way. The storage, SDKs for you. If you want to create not just a Connect wallet to kind of grab people's wallet address, but if you want to create an actual session and track some user activities, we've got your Auth SDK.
Yeah, we've got a question. So Eli in the chat wants to know, do you guys have a tool that helps with user wallet creation? Maybe that's somewhere that we could jump to. Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you for the question.
So that's a great question. One of the biggest things right now, and I'll demo this in a second, for people navigating from Web 2 to Web 3, the question we get all the time is, how do I make this seamless? How do I make this easy for my customers? They don't want to deal with downloading and installing MetaMask. They don't want to deal with tracking seed phrases. They don't want to every time they do a transaction, sign the transaction, pay for gas. All that is, we have a bunch of tools that are kind of in alpha testing stage right now. We do have some things out of the box, like if you want to integrate with Magic Link for email-based onboarding. We have that for you. We have Coinbase wallet as an integration already, but we're bringing all that in-house and giving it to you as a vertical third web offering. And I'm going to show you a demo of something we've built using that here in a second. But to build it up from the ground up, let's go to terminal. Devs will love this. So the first thing we want to do is to create. We always start with creating a smart contract, right? So start with our create command. And here it gives us a few options. We have an app, we have a contract, and we have a dynamic contract extension. And I'm going to pause on this dynamic contract extension for a second. This is a brand new feature. Not very many contracts in the world right now exist with this, because EIP 2535 is very, very new. Imagine a world where when you deploy a smart contract, that you can actually make upgrades to it over time. You can fix bugs. You don't have to redeploy a brand new smart contract and lose all the work that you've done and work with a transfer process. This is if you're interested in this, if you want to geek out over it, look into EIP 2535. What we've done is we've stripped out a lot of the kind of extra functionality there and boil it down to its leanest form and offered this kind of router-based dynamic contract model. This is, to me, this is game-changing. This is one of the most game-changing things that we're doing. The ability to update smart contracts after they've been deployed, But going back to this, we won't jump into this one right now. Let's just create a simple smart contract. We'll name our contract here, or our project. We pick the framework we want to use, name the contract, and here's where we pick kind of the base contract. We can go empty. Let's start with the 721, and let's call it a drop. Now, this will all take, just about a minute or two. But instead of having you all sit and watch, I'm going to go to one that I've already deployed. Here we go. I'll make this a little bit bigger. So we have our contract open here. Very simple. Most of the logic's being done, here in this import. But what you see is we've got our basic contract here, our basic contract object here, and we've got a constructor which sets up all the basics. And then right here, if you want to add any sort of custom functionality, there's two ways to expand the power of your contract. You can either write custom code right here in the constructor of this main file, or you can use Contract Kit. Up here in Products, Contract Kit, what we give you is a full set of tools to take it two ways. If you're a Solidity dev and you want to write custom functionality yourself, great, go for it. Again, I still recommend you start with our base contract because it's audited, it's gas optimized. It gets you up and going really, really quickly. And chances are you're going to be playing with like an ERC20 or 721 or 1155 or the variety of other like types of contracts that we have on there. So why not get started there? And then you can extend the functionality. So if we look at the extensions, we have a bunch here. So if we're looking at, staking, let's say we want to add staking to the 721 we just spun up. We give you the code that you need to transfer over to your contract. So with this, you just import an extension and an interface, and then you add this functionality inside the constructor. Easy as that. Copy paste that inside the constructor. Add the imports. Double check all the the variables and everything are matching up, and you're good. You've just added another extension to your contract. If you don't want to go through the process of designing it and building it yourself, and you want to rely on, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You want to rely on a team of smart contract experts who live and breathe this stuff and work on the most effective, efficient way to get you up and going as fast as possible. So now that we have a contract, what's next? Well, we need an app. So here you see that the contract's already created. Oh, one thing I want to show you that's really, really awesome with the contract. After you're done with your contract, you got to deploy it, right? I'm curious, just to show a thumbs in the kind of Telegram chat, if anyone here has tried to deploy, a Solidity smart contract and knows the pain of going through this. I'm going to show you. That's it. One line. You hit deploy. You wait. It compiles. It goes through the process. Again, this takes. There we go. It went real quick. It pulls up this menu for you where you can add in the contract parameters. Pick your network and chain. Again, you can configure your network to add any EVM. And then you just click deploy. And again, all of these different pieces in the contract parameters you can configure from the file itself. You can write these and you can hard code these in, or you can do it here on this page. So now that we've deployed our contract, let's create an app. So let's go back to our create command. Oh, let's see. Now we're creating an app. We'll call it CPG app. We'll do it on EVM. We'll pick Next.js, go TypeScript because hooray typing. And this gets spun up. Again, it only takes about a minute. I think everyone's used one of these tools before. It takes a little bit for the files to get spun up. But I have an app here already. Let me just go ahead and pop it open for you. So we have two things here. We have our main app kind of entry point. Here we see we've picked the active chain of Ethereum. If you want to play with multiple chains, there are ways to instantiate multiple chains. It's a little bit more tricky on the React side. On the back end, if you're using Node, you just declare a couple of variables that each store the context of the chain. Here, using React, you have to actually create those contexts, which takes a little bit more work, but it's minutes versus hours of work that you need to do here. So we've wrapped our app with our third web provider, and this automatically gives you all the access to the SDK and the dashboard. And we've got a basic kind of boilerplate index.html. Go ahead and run this on localhost and take a look at what we're doing. Here we go. Pre-built out of the box. One thing you'll see is that we have this Connect wallet UI component that we've pulled out of the third web React. How long does it take to even just build out this third web wallet component where you've got the address, you can switch accounts, disconnect, all this fun stuff. And I'm going to show you how to add one more thing. This to me is another one of the most mind-blowing parts of third web. So if we go to, let's go to React. Let's look at this NFT renderer. Now, let's just pause for a second. I want to see hands again in the chat. A thumbs up if you have ever tried to just render a basic rendering of a single NFT. Like, let's talk through that for a minute. So like, you're gonna have to start off with copying, like without third web, you're gonna copy your ABI from Etherscan or a Forge Hard Hat build. You have to create a contract with the address using that ABI and using some library like Ethers. You have to fetch the total number of NFTs on the contract using, again, a library. You have to fetch metadata using a networking library. You have to fetch the owner using, probably Ethers or some other library out there. Then you got to assemble this list together and then display each NFT in your app. At this point, you've used what, like half a day at a time, like 100 or so lines of code. It's a lot of time getting spun up. I'm going to show you how easy it is with third web. So we start with our import. Actually, we need all of these here. Import the NFT media, use contract, and use NFT. There we go. And then really from here, as easy as just copy and pasting this in here. Now this function returns the component. I'm going to go down here. Actually, let's just grab this, bring it in up here. We need a contract address. Does anyone have, this will take a while to put in. I was going to ask if anyone has a contract address with some NFTs that we can pull down, but I'd have to sit here for about 20, 30 seconds. So let's pull one up from OpenSea. And if anyone wants to drop one in while I do this part, I'm happy to swap it out. You'll see how easy it is.
Yeah, actually, while we're, I mean, we can wait and see if anyone's got one, just to kind of capture, love the discussion going on in the Telegram right now, and just to capture some of that here. So we did have this one question here, does third web work with a chain like Tezos? We got the answer, but just for the folks that are watching the video here, if you want to just give the 30-second.
I'll answer it. So we have a completely customer-driven roadmap. We're just like all of you. We're a startup. We prioritize. We need people to request Tezos. It's very much on our radar from an artist perspective, and we don't support it yet. So if you want us to support it, tell us that you're building there. We'll service that to our team. We support over 700 chains. So like every EVM chain and Solana we support. So all the ZK EVMs, Coinbase's new base chain. I learned that Cardano has an EVM chain. Like it's, there's so many chains. I had no idea. So if Tezos has an EVM, we'll support it, but like, let us know.
Awesome.
I would want to know why you're on Tezos, because like there's so few dev tools there. I would like, I don't want to encourage you to go somewhere else, but like I'd want to know, what are you doing on Tezos?
Yeah, and so that leads to kind of the other thing that you talked about. There is so one, MetaBetty's just dropped a contract in there if you want to go pull that up. And while we're waiting for that, you guys dropped, there is a third web Discord. So
yeah,
you want to just talk about that for a little bit while Muhammad gets that set up.
Maybe I'll drop a link in the Discord. I was just going to say a few things. This Discord is super helpful. We put a lot of effort into it. It's everybody that is an admin there. They're all developers. We hired them because they were so enthusiastic and about helping, helping our community, and they're all experts on our tool. They're very responsive. You can search the Discord. You're going to probably find that your question was answered. They just spun up a forum that they're working on. So I would just say you will find help in there. And if you can't find help in there, I dropped my Calendly in the chat. You all get special access again to like office hours, book time with Muhammad and myself. Will help you. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of links that you guys have dropped in the chat while this is going on. We'll kind of summarize all that. We'll put a post up in the announcement section of the Telegram as well, so everyone's got that. So if you are watching this in the next couple of days and you want to make sure that you still have access to all of that great stuff that's in the Telegram right now, we'll make sure to include that there. We'll pin the post so that everyone's got access to the Discord. There was some announcements that you've done over on Twitter. Ton of, I was looking at the guides that you've got over on your blog. So you guys have done an excellent job of documentation already, and so we'll make sure everyone gets access to those as well.
I did want to encourage everyone to follow our Twitter. We're just like all of you. We're a startup, and we believe in shipping every day. So we ship an enormous number of new features every week. It's hard to keep up with. And one, I would follow us because like I think you should all be doing this. Like it's like good culture. It'll help you make small improvements. But two, our product constantly evolves with how much we ship. You're going to learn a lot about what the cutting edge of like is possible. Like when Vitalik blogs about something, it's in our product a week later, like soulbound tokens. And so like we're working on account abstraction and smart wallets right now. Like, so there's so much you'll see every week.
Amazing. Thanks.
Cool. MetaBetties, thank you for dropping your contract in. I want to show you how you can kind of get your contract hooked up to the kind of power of the Third Web dashboard. So two ways to do it. You saw me go here to the thirdweb.com/dashboard. You can do it right here from the home by pasting in the contract link, or you can click import and put in the contract address, sorry, not link, directly in there. So this X looks like it's a different X. Oh, it found it anyway. Interesting. Sometimes copy pasting things in coding is precarious. But I'm going to go ahead and click it. It's importing the contract. So now it's interesting. It probably the contract hasn't been verified yet, unfortunately. So we could take a couple steps to verify this, and maybe MetaBetties, I'll just connect with you after this to do this. I'm curious to look at the verifier right now. Yeah, we definitely want to have that is one requirement for importing. They need to be verified contracts, but we can work through that. We can pair through that afterwards if you'd like. But I'm glad it still came up, because if it is a verified contract, all you need to do is paste in your contract link in here, click on it, it'll import it, and it'll spin up not just the dashboard experience that I showed you a second ago, but the whole SDK is now connected, and you can use all the functionality of the SDK. Just to finish this part of the demo, I've pasted in the Bored Ape contract here. I need to now actually use the component, the Third Web NFT media component. So let's drop it in right underneath NFT media. Let's go to our documentation real quick. Should be good. Not sure what we're seeing. Wants to see metadata. We'll add the metadata. Let's be complete here. It's giving me a TypeScript. I'm cutting. What we want to do is really place this in as well, which we can. But I'm going to kind of skim over that for this moment. It's not the, you want to account for failure cases, of course. Let's see, where's localhost? Oh, really wants it. Let's get rid of the strict. All right, it's going to make me do it. Let's go ahead and account for the failure cases. Loading and not found. All right, there we go. Now we're here, we're loading. Oh, the first load always takes a second.
The fun part of doing live demos.
The fun part, yeah, it's always needles and pins.
Asking for restarts, asking for
Yeah.
Awesome, yeah, and
love
just
us.
bunch of folks said they're already joining the Discord. They've dropped their Discord handles.
I'm sending all their
over in the
usernames
Telegram
over to get bumped up.
Love it. Oh, I have the wrong address in here. I updated it to the MetaBetties address and not the. Let's go back to Bored Ape. That's what's going on. Fun debugging session. There we go. Now we'll save. Actually, let's bring that loading back. Let's paste this in here. Let's save. Now let's go back to localhost. Hopefully it'll go a little bit more quickly. There we go. And we have our Bored Ape, and I mean, you can see very easily how using this like pre-built component, you can iterate through, the indexes of your Bored Ape. So this is basically the end of the demo, but there is one thing that people brought up about wallets that I want to show you. So we're a launch partner with Shopify, and this page you see here we've created as a Shopify theme. This is a pre-built page that demos our token gating. So you can click on whatever piece of merch that you want to buy. It does this gating. We need to check to see if you're a member. You connect your MetaMask or whatever wallet that you have. I'm going to show you the frictionless way here in a second. I'm going to pick the wallet that actually is carrying the NFT. But you can imagine if it doesn't carry the gating NFT, it'll say, hey, you need to go like claim it. And now we have it. We have a page where we can actually purchase specific items that are token gated. And then this to me, this is a work in progress. This is like pre-alpha. It's not done yet. Literally, Mariano, one of our developers, was pushing updates like 10 minutes before this this came up. But this is another Shopify theme that we're working on, which has the basics of a store that's accessible to the public right up here, and then down here, a holder exclusive for this test strip hoodie. And to access, you have two options. If you're a Web3, if you're already familiar with Web3, you can connect your wallet, go through the process I just showed you a second ago. Or this to me is the cool part. This is again all written with like tens of lines of code, not instead of like hundreds. You can click this login button. You log in with your email. I'm going to click submit here. Now, there's one step that this isn't going to show, which for the very first time you create this, you're going to let me actually pull it up. You're going to get emailed a code from our system right here. So one time, and we're going through, again, this is very early phase. This whole email is going to be able to be customized with your branding, even your from email, so that the user experience makes sense for your customers. You paste in that passcode. Now I've done that already, so it skips it the next time. And there we go. That's it. We're email logged in. You see how when you return to the site, it's easier than honestly like normal email login. You don't even need your password because it's like it's stored on your all the signing and everything is done using the wallet like behind the scenes. And if you want to claim, again, very easy. Again, air it out. This is a pre-alpha product. I mentioned that it's a work in process. But the other thing that we're building out with this is gasless. So you don't want your users necessarily dealing with like wallet seed phrases, and you also don't necessarily want them to pay for gas. So we're hooking up this wallet with our own kind of vertical gasless solution, so that the whole experience just feels like a native like Web 2 experience. They hit login, they hit claim, the thing is minted directly to their wallet, or the item is automatically like put into your like fulfillment process to be shipped to their house. It's all done just very instantly, all behind the scenes. No like Web3 experience needed from your customers. So we talked about wallet and identity and auth. So I wanted to show that a little bit, even though this piece isn't fully built out yet. We should have it launched within the next like 1 to 2 weeks.
That's awesome. And so Riley over in the Telegram asked, so this part is with Magic Link. It basically works the same way as a Magic Link would work, or similar.
Great question. You heard me mention Magic Link earlier. Magic Link, if you want to go build it out today, we provide some hooks to use Magic Link directly. But this feature, this more native functionality, you're going to get in about 2 weeks. It doesn't use Magic Link anymore. It's built, it's a fully third web solution. And it provides a lot more customizability. It provides those gasless features. It's a much more optimized process that's going to be available in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, today you got to use Magic Link for email onboarding. In about a week or two, you use the third web solution. And
awesome.
all the extras plugged in.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And as you know, we're about to wrap up. So you talked about Magic Link. You've got Shopify. As people are thinking about maybe partnerships that they already have, partnerships that they need, maybe Jason, that's a good spot for you, or Muhammad, you can talk about from a dev point of view, who are the other kind of bigger partnerships that you guys either have going on, maybe are about to launch with, things like that, just so people can think about the whole ecosystem and where Third Web might fit in with some of the other folks.
Yeah, I mean, think about Third Web like the way you think about your AWS console. Like when you go into that, you can kind of see like every service provider with drop-down menus for like building your app or your website. Third Web we are building a developer experience. And that means like we are building a workflow and a series of managed infrastructure for all of you. And so we're kind of like Switzerland. We're like in the middle. We want to integrate with all the tools that you want to use. So every fiat on-ramp out there. And we want to give you everything that makes it great to build. So like that's where like these analytics comes in, easy deployment. And so a partnership that we have one with Coinbase around gaming. If you go onto our homepage under solutions, you'll see a gaming kit. And if any of you are making games or anything that's like using a lot of really cool graphics, we have a Unity SDK. And if you click through there, you can get a whole bunch of credits from Coinbase. We're Coinbase's preferred solution provider. When startups sign up for Coinbase, like cloud or any of their services, we get an email like introduced to go meet those companies because they recommend everybody towards us. Muhammad mentioned the Shopify partnership. We're working on like a social partnership. It's not like official or anything, but like, tools like Lens, we like, they're integrating our SDKs. It's really easy if you're going to build something social to use like their tools and then like use our smart contracts together. So I don't know. That's one. I'm trying to think.
Amazing. Yeah, we've had the folks from we've had the folks from Lens and Farcaster on over on the Genius calls over the last couple of months. So
Nader was just at our office. We had really great convos with them at ETH Denver. There's a lot of alignment between using Lens and Farcaster and like using our tools on top. Like, they take care of the social graph. We take care of a lot of like the other user interactions.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
I think where we're really excited to help people is with token gated commerce. It's like a new frontier. A lot of people struggle with it. That's why we built a solution for it. And then also we want to tell your stories. If you use our tools, this is something that's like unique that we're making available to all of you. If you use Third Web and you build something cool, like we want to tell that story. We can connect you with our marketing team. We can make great case studies because we want people seeing the great work you've done. You can get some like, it's great to always have a case study with someone like us. And so that's like also like a way we can help aside from like other industry connections. We know lots of VCs that are focused on investing in the areas that you typed in chat. And so, yeah, stay in touch with us, build a relationship with us. That's what the opportunity is here.
Awesome. We've got one last question here that maybe.
Are there downsides for building
Yeah.
with Third Web from scratch? I would just say, if you're building from scratch, let's say I was an investor in your company and I was meeting with you, the CEO, and like I found out that you're building everything yourself. I'd be a little disappointed in you because instead of focusing on, you have precious time, and instead of spending every hour learning something new and spending your time working on like the unique business logic that you have, your unique user experience. If I found out that you were rebuilding things that have already been built, I'd be disappointed that you're not like using all of like the resources available. I would wonder if like you're more like fascinated by like solidity. And like, listen, it's great so like I would say like a downside of using Third Web could be that like you are not getting like lots of reps on like doing deep solidity for everything you're doing. And so like maybe as an intellectual exercise, like you might not be like lifting the weights like mentally on like becoming a super deep expert and like utilizing that expertise all the time. At the same time, like I would say that's holding you back. And like your job isn't to like build everything all the time and be a deep expert on every single Lego piece of your whole thing. Your job is to not sit on not knowing. Your job is to get up and go learn and go take your product to market and get feedback. Like you're now you're building a business. This isn't just a side project or an academic exercise. And so, yeah, that's like my completely loaded answer to that question.
That's fair. And Muhammad, did you have anything else to add around kind of the power of Third Web and using your code versus again, from scratch or starting from the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jason captured it. I think it's at a certain point like more of a business decision than like a technical decision. But Lohash actually captured it in their comment that if you're building something that like you can't find, that doesn't exist, like if you're doing something completely unique and novel that at the very primitive level needs to be fundamentally different than whatever like ERC standards are out there, you're gonna want to write it yourself, right? But looking at the types of companies and types of projects that are in this room, that doesn't seem to be the core focus of most companies, right? You want to focus on building your audience. You want to focus on like getting to market and testing your solutions versus spending all that time spinning up what kind of code that is already there and gas optimized and audited for you.
And even if you do have that unique unicorn, brand new, smart contract situation, like which some of you probably will, you can still migrate that into Third Web and get the benefits of a lot of other managed infrastructure. Like, so we're doing a lot of the work for you, and it's all best practices. And and like one-click contract, upgrades.
Like dedicated RPC nodes, pinning on
forever.
IPFS. There's so many things that outside of just writing code is like one piece of the puzzle, right? As a business, you got to like manage that infrastructure, and as Jason's pointing out, like that is a lot of what you get out of the box too. And we'd love to get your custom contract like on Explore. We'd love to have our engineers take a look at it. Like, let us know if you're in that position.
I also want to give one more shout out. This is like our sister organization. So our founder Furkan, he founded a company called AppLovin, which is like the largest mobile game publisher. They had a $30 billion IPO. He's done several other startups. One was acquired by Twitch. And so one thing that he did was he bought a building in Fort Mason in San Francisco, 4 floors. There are 350 founders there. They got robotics labs, food sciences. They have a whole Web3 floor, a whole gaming floor. And we have a fund run by who is the former founder of Curse named Uber. And this Founders Inc. is where Third Web's offices are. We were incubated there. And if any of you are interested after your next step after CPG, they're a phenomenal network of founders. It's not like a 12-week program and you graduate. It's more like you join the network, they write checks, and their whole network can be helpful. And it's something that everyone here should think about. And like, you all have an opportunity again to like, one, meet Muhammad, have him help you. Two, like, connect with me, DM me. We can build a relationship. And when you're fundraising, I can connect you to them. You can apply. Like, there's so many ways we can help. And so it's just beyond the software. We're very interested in increasing the odds of startups' success that are using our tools. And so, like, we just want you to be aware of all the ways that you can leverage the Third Web team.
Amazing. Really appreciate the dedication, guys, the flexibility, the willingness to kind of help the crew here. You guys are in the Telegram now. Be active there. For the folks that are watching live or watching afterwards, we'll definitely do a recap. Like, so much info here. I understood about half of what you went through, Muhammad. So hopefully, the folks in the chat understood a little bit more than me. And if not, take advantage of the fact that these guys are putting themselves out there. Book that time. Join the Discord. We'll gather all those links for everyone that's watching this after the fact. Can't say enough thanks for joining, and maybe we'll touch base. I think we're about 3 months away from the next round of pitch sessions, so I'm sure Raf is probably already talking to you or some of the other folks at Third of participating in some of that.
Yep.
Maybe doing some mock stuff, helping some folks with those sessions as well. So really appreciate the commitment to the CPG community and kind of the larger Web3 startup community.
Well, thank you for being a great community. We love what you're doing. Keep going at it. We're here to help.
Amazing. And with that, we'll see you guys over in Telegram. Thanks.